Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and welcome to A Thistle and Thread. Yay! This is my first Flosstube / creative crafty video that I'm posting, and I'm just super duper excited to share all the fun little crafty creative things that I get to get my hands on during my free time. So I'm excited to create community and talk about one of my most beloved hobbies, which is doing these creative crafty things. So this is going to be like showing cross stitch and crochet and quilting and sewing and really anything super fun that I think is super fun. So I thought I would start with a little bit of an introduction. So like I said, I'm Nicole. I'm 27 years old and I'm recently married. I was a December bride, and my husband and I and both our families, we live in upstate New York in the Adirondack Mountains, and we live in a really small little lakeside town where there's really not much to do here except outdoors things, which we're like really fortunate that we love to do, but then also little crafty creative pursuits. So that's really how I got into this hobby. And I thought I would start off a little bit with my creative journey these past couple years, and then I'll go into those works in progress, and maybe I'll show like my longest crochet project I've been working on. And yeah, so let's get started. So I, and like a lot of other people, I got into crafting in 2020. My mom got me an embroidery kit from Walmart, and she's like, you should try this. And before that, I never thought of myself as like a creative person. I was really a perfectionist, and I didn't like to really sit down and do something because I could always find the flaws and the imperfections in something. So I was hesitant, but once I picked it up, I was totally addicted. And it was really the first activity that I have done that my mind is just totally and completely blank. And as someone with anxiety, it was just like so beneficial for me. So I completely fell in love with doing the embroidery kits, and then I started to make my own patterns, and I created my own embroidery business where I would embroider on hats and like clothing items and things, and I would sell them. And I loved that so much. But I did it so much that I got really burnt out and I gave myself really bad tendonitis. So I took a break from that, and then I moved into crochet, which I taught myself how to crochet like November of 2022, and then I full force went into that. Now I literally have a yarn wall because when I do something, I do it fully and I hyperfixate, and then collecting the little goodies is like its own little hobby in its own. So crochet was something that I totally dove into. And then November of this last year, so 2024, is when I discovered cross stitching. And I, like a lot of us, follow a lot of different crafty creators. So I really started out with watching a lot of like the crochet and knitting videos. And I specifically watched Ashley at Paper Crane Yarns and her podcasts and Vlogtober videos. She's absolutely amazing. Go check her out. But she was showing her cross-stitch projects. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute. I didn't realize crochet. I didn't realize cross-stitch was that cute, honestly. So I went on Etsy and I bought my first cross-stitch pattern, which was from Mama Witch Crossstitch, I believe is her name. And I started to crochet it all. Oh my gosh, it's a little strawberry shortcake frog. And I still haven't finished him yet. And that is because I was new and I got the pattern and it said 2 strands of floss on the Ada. And I was like, 2 strands? Oh, that's not enough. So I did 3. And now that I'm a little bit more experienced, I can see why you wouldn't really use 3. my stitches just don't lay super flat. And honestly, I did a 2-row mistake. I have to pick it out, but I should really finish him because he's adorable. He's so cute, and I've always been drawn to her patterns because they're honestly like very whimsy and witchy and really cute. And honestly, starting on black fabric for my first project was very bold, but I love him and I really should get back to finishing him. But from then I just dove headfirst into everything else because I was like, he's so cute and this is so fun. So then after that, so that was around like October, November, then I was like watching all the Flosstubers, which I'll shout some out at the end. And I discovered LindyStitches and her amazing store and her amazing patterns. And I was like, I need something Christmassy. I need to get in the spirit. So I found her Peppermint Candy pattern. And let me fix this. This is bothering me. So I did Peppermint Candy, which, oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Sorry, I have a glare. Because it's all these little motifs, and this is where I discovered that I really love cross-stitching words. It was just so much fun to do. And I mean, I must have did that duck like 5 times. I kept screwing up the counting, but it was still so much fun. So this is the only thing that I've like actually put in a frame, and it is not framed well. I don't have it laced. I just kind of shoved it in. And I love it because my husband really loves Christmas, and we have like a whole Christmas Lego display situation going on. So this goes above it. And I loved it. I got, I just did this pattern on just like a generic, I think it was like a 14 count Ada. It's a bit crunchy. I got it from Amazon because I was learning. And I did get her floss pack that she sells on her website. I don't know if she still currently sells it, but she sold it in December. So I just did everything called for that. And I'm just obsessed with it. All these little motifs are just the cutest things I've ever seen. Probably took me like a month to do. I was obsessed with it. And then after that, I moved onto another Etsy pattern. I believe this is Stitch Sprout. And again, I saw Ashley from Paper Crane Yarn. She did this. She shared it. And I was like, this is totally up my alley because it's very cottagecore. And I forget the actual name of the pattern, but I think it has the word cottagecore in it. Oh, I can't. Once I saw that like mushroom, like vintage dish and a goose, I was sold. I did it again on a crunchy blue Ada from Amazon, but I loved it so much. I just like was so addicted to doing this at night because it's just so stinking cute. I need to finish it. I'm envisioning like a gold ornate frame and it can sit on my desk, and I need to finish it. I just have not had the mind space yet to do that. But that was my next pattern I did, which again, full headfirst dove into it. And then lastly, oh, I dropped it. This is like my first really fully finish. After I did the Stitch Sprout pattern with the little goose, little cottagecore goose, I was like, okay, let's experiment on linen. I haven't used linen. Let's try it out. Let's become a big girl in this sport. So I discovered on Etsy Fairy Wool in the Wood, I believe is the name. And she has these cute little ABC little samplers. So the Autumn Gnome one spoke to me because I'm just like really drawn to autumnal patterns or even like Halloween spooky witchy patterns. That's kind of like what I gravitate towards first. And so this was a bit of a learning curve because I had to understand the whole 2/2 thing and really get my eyes adjusted to linen. But once I did, I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved stitching alphabets. I could stitch alphabet for days. And I don't think I changed anything except her acorn has a green bottom, I believe. And I wanted mine to be a ripe acorn. So I changed it just to the body of the little hedgehog porcupine. And I finished it into a pillow. It was the first time I made a pillow. I think this is just like a Michael's fabric that they were selling a couple years ago in the fall. And this linen, I believe, is a 32 count or 30 count hand-dyed linen from Primitive Hair. And it is just the cutest thing I've ever seen. I love it. I love it. So then that kind of sparked my linen obsession, and those are kind of my cross-stitch journey of finishes. So, finishes. Some fully finished, some not. So now I'm gonna go into my WIPs, or my works in progress, which there's quite a few. I always thought of myself as like a monogamous stitcher. I would exclusively only work on one project, but then as I got more and more into Flosstube and I saw all of these WIPs that people were doing, or their finishes, I was like, oh my gosh, I need every single project. And now I think I have like 5 or 6. So my first project is that I'm participating in the Fantastical Greenhouse Stitch Along from Tiny Modernist, which Tiny Modernist is one of my favorite pattern designers. I think she's absolutely amazing. So I'm doing, like I said, Fantastical Greenhouse. This is part 1. I'm still not done with part 1 of the project yet, and part 2 came out today. I'm just a little bit behind. Like, I need to do the little watering can. There's another pot, finish the plants, and kind of just do some lines and some fill-in and some like finishing of the flower. But I was just so into hearing about people doing stitch-alongs, and when I saw that Tiny Modernist released her new one, which I only think it's a couple months long, it's not a full year or a full season, it's like I need to join it. And especially since it's pretty whimsy. Like, I know it has unicorn. The pattern that just came out for this month, March 1st, has a little gnome, and I know there'll be a little dragon, so I'm excited. I just got the full DMC pack and the recommended fabric, which I believe is Nessie by Picture This Plus. I think it's a 32 count, and I ordered it from the recommended LNS that Tiny Modernist posted on her website. And oh yeah, I have to do the back stitching too. Like my snail shell just blends, so I need to and like the little flower stems I need to add. But this has been really fun to work on. Like I said, I'm a little behind, but that's okay. I am farther along than I thought I would be for my first stitch along, but I'm loving the colors. I think it's gonna be so adorable up on my wall once it's done, and it's gonna be like a fun little project to keep up with as the months go on. So my next project that I've been working on is from an Italian designer who I discovered on Etsy, and it's Cuore e Batticuore. I believe that's how you say it. And they have literally the cutest patterns I've ever seen. I binge bought a lot of them on Etsy and 123 Stitch. So this is the one that I fully kitted up and have been actively working on. And this is Il mio Rifugio Segreto, which is my secret refuge. And it is the sweetest alpine mountainy inspired pattern. That little cow, mushrooms, just everything about it I love. So this I am doing, I will show you what I'm doing on it. Okay, so I just have this in a little nerd hoop. I don't have that much progress right now. Oh my gosh, don't look at my janky needle minder. My needle minder broke, so I'm just using the magnets So I just have the little mountain sign kind of outlined right now, and this is on a Zweigart Belfast 32 count linen, and I'm really enjoying it right now. And the more that I do it, it's just so much fun. Like those little strawberries were really fun to do. And I think I'm gonna take a break on the sign. I'm not really sure if I want to do the full fill-in yet, just because the DMC floss is very similar to the color of the fabric, so I might just do the motifs and call it a day. But I think I'm gonna do the little hanging things next so that I can just start progressing a little bit more in the pattern. But when this is done, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be obsessed with it. I mean, that little cow that says milk, I'm dead. And this is literally me. I should change your hair to brown because that's me on my little homestead in the mountains. I love it so much. I love it. So that I'm hoping to progress a little bit on. If I can get the motifs done this coming week, that would be really exciting. So next whip was something I got for Christmas, and I was watching Homemade on the Ridge, I believe her channel name, and she did the cutest Lizzie Kate pattern that I've seen, and it's called Halloween Rules. And my mom surprised me with it for Christmas, and I love it. Like I said, I'm really drawn to like very Halloweenish, witchy, autumnal patterns. And when I saw Homemade on the Ridge, I believe her name is Maggie, when I saw her do this, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. So I got, my mom got me the pattern, and I kitted it up. And I started with just the border. The border's free on Lizzie Kate's website. So I haven't actually gotten into like the motif stitching yet, but I started with the border. So I throw that down. So it says hollow right now, but this was really fast to stitch. And this is my first time using, I used fancy floss in my LindyStitches Peppermint Candy pattern, but this was the first time I used, I don't even remember which floss it is. I think it's like Gentle Arts or something like that. And I'm liking it, but I find that when I frog it, like if I have to pick something out, it just shreds pretty easily. But that's okay. I think that's a me problem more than a thread problem. Ooh, I moved this a little. So yeah, I'm loving this. I think this is honestly going to be a really fast stitch, especially once I get the border done. I think it's just gonna fly by. And this is a pretty long piece of fabric. This is, I got a 1/4 yard of chestnut linen fabric, an 18 by 27, 32 count is what the sticker says. And I can't remember if this is the recommended, but this is the 1, 2, 3 substitution recommended fabric for this. And again, I'm loving it. I just think it is the cutest thing. And I'm probably saying cute like 1,000 times in this video, but I'm loving working on it. And this is a recent start for me now. Ever since I started stitching and watching Flosstube videos, I have been obsessed with the Hawkrun Hollow series by Carriage House Sampler. And I recently just placed like a DMC floss order at 1, 2, 3 Stitch. And I was like, oh, I don't just want to buy floss. I have to like buy a pattern too. So I splurged and got Autumn at Hawkrun Hollow. And I am just so excited. I know this is probably going to be like a multi-year long project because this is 40 count. It's big, but it just brings me so much joy. just looking at it, I love it so much. And I am a seasonal stitcher, but I'm just so drawn to Halloween and witchy things. Like I said, I go to Salem every single year, and I love it. So it really just like speaks to my soul every time I'm doing something. I'm like cross-stitching something witchy or Halloweeny. So I'm currently working on, I mean, this is a very wimpy start, but I started the first square, and it's "We do lie beneath the grass" is what it says. So I started that. Not much of a start, but I did almost a whole row, which on 40 count, stitching like 100 down for a square is kind of hard to keep track of. So I think I'm gonna use like the heat erasing pens and kind of mark where I have like 20 stitches, 20 stitches, 20 stitches, so that I kind of keep track a little bit easier of how many I'm doing. But yeah, this is my little wimpy start with my cute little Halloween truck needle minder. I forget who makes these, but again, I ordered this from 123 Stitch. And that's my first little side. All called for, everything. Or I didn't get the NPI silks because it's just very, very expensive. So I did just get DMC, and the model was stitched with DMC. So that just made me feel even better about getting it. But I'm excited to progress along. And yeah, this line probably took me 2 days of like putting it up and like switching it with other projects. So I think once I get the border done of this first square, I'm going to be more inspired to stitch, at least on the inside of it. It's just 40 count isn't my favorite so far. Like I really have to put on those. I mean, I always use my magnifying glasses when I stitch, but I really have to like put it on the highest the highest setting when I do it. So I'm still getting used to it, but I know that's going to be like one of my most treasured pieces once it's done, but I know it's going to be a multi-year project. And on to now one of my favorite ones that I'm stitching right now. I've seen so many people make this, and this is Teresa Kogut, a gem that she is. I love her so much. But this is the Silhowitches Quaker. Sorry, I have it in the plastic, so it's a bit of a glare. This is me in a piece. You got witches, you got spooky things. Like you got the cute little primitive Quakers. I love this. I always knew I was gonna stitch this. This was one of the first patterns that I purchased, and I'm obsessed. And I really love the thread that's with it. I love that it's mostly monochromatic with the pops of green, which I think is so interesting. So this is what I have started right now, and this took me a while. I redid this witch so many times because I screwed up the counting, you know, and I do have border mistakes with the owl, but I kind of improvised it. But it was like my first time doing something where I made mistakes, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to pick it out, but I'm gonna have to adjust the motifs, which I know is easy to do, but again, I'm recovering perfectionist. So I kind of just fudged the border a little bit. I think I was just a little bit off by like 1-ish on the bottom, so I just extended the stem and adjusted the vampire, which the vampire just looks like a man in a cape right now, but he's so cute. I love him. I have to give him his fangs and his bow tie. But I also did that cutie little ghost, and I loved the bats motif. I didn't do any of the half stitches because since I'm still new, there's like, I didn't know what the little dots meant on the pattern. I thought it was just like a printing situation. But when I compared like the actual grid to the model picture, I was like, oh, those are half stitches. So that's how you like do the teeth and the little bow tie. And I have to add some to the little bats, but it is so cute. And I do have to do like back stitching on like the little kitty. He doesn't have whiskers, but I'm obsessed. I've been working on this a good amount. Again, this was the first time I did 40 count, and the counting, you gotta count. And I like triple check my counting. But this has really had me fall in love with Quakers. Like, I knew I liked samplers because I love words, but this is a nice mix because this pattern, it does have a good amount of words, which I enjoy because it's quick. Like, I think I'm doing creepy, like, soon. Creepy and spooky, and I don't know. I just love them. I love it. I'm gonna try to finish the little vampire tonight. And see, I've been working on, like, my mountain refuge one, but this has been, like, one of my top priority whips that I've been doing. And it's so cute. This is, like, a couple weeks of work on it. Yeah, so that is currently all the projects that I've been actively working on. Oh, I didn't share this before, but I store all my projects in the iconic Amazon bags. And I honestly really enjoy them. I just do. I mean, the pretty ones are really nice too, but which I do have some pretty ones, but I've just been liking the Amazon ones. They're super easy. And since I don't have that many whips currently, I just keep them in a bag. Like right now it's in like this little tea reusable bag that I have. But yeah, that is all my current whips. And I can show my crochet project too that I've been actively working on. I mean, I have a lot of crochet works in progress, but since I kind of delve headfirst into cross stitch, my crochet has been on like the back burner. So I can start with this. I have to like reach over to get it. So I've been working on, oh, I just dropped the yarn. I've been working on a blanket for the past year. And fun fact about me, I mean, if you couldn't tell, is that I love Disney. I've been going to the Disney park since I'm like 7, I think. So like 20 years. We've been going almost every year. And I was recently just a Disney bride. I got married in Disney in December. And it was like the greatest experience ever. And it's just made a place that's even more fond to me. Just me love it that much more. And I'm so grateful that once I have kids one day, I can really share that experience with them and just be able to relive wedding day memories, because a lot of people don't get to visit their venue that they get married at a lot, at least once their wedding is done and over with. And I got married at Christmas time in Disney at the Grand Floridian. So it's just like, I know walking in there at Christmas time and smelling the gingerbread and seeing all the decorations is going to instantly bring me back. So I'm really grateful that that's where I got to have my wedding. And so I know I was going to be a Disney bride since like 2020, end of 2023 is when we booked the wedding. So I knew I wanted to do a project that kind of was like a memory for that. And one of my favorite yarn dyers is Fangirl Fibers, and she does so many like niche, like nerdy things. Like she does like Disney, and she'll do like books and stuff. And I love that. I'm so drawn to all that. And she did a monthly yarn club that was Disney parks inspired. And when I saw that, I saw it like a couple months in, and I messaged her. I was like, please, please, please tell me you have like the previous months for that year. And she did, which was really great. So I purchased the couple months that I missed. But I've been part of this club for the last year, and I've been making a blanket, and I'm on the last skein, which is really sad because this blanket just like means so much to me now. So this is like my Disney wedding year memory blanket. So I'll stand up and show you it. So I'm currently working on the last skein, and I'll go through what each one is, but each skein of yarn is inspired by something in the Disney parks, which I love. So this is just kind of, it's really big. An overview of the colors. So this is the garden party blanket. I forget who the designer is, but I'll link it down below. It's on Ravelry. But every month, Fangirl Fibers sent a Disney-inspired yarn. So I can go through the months. So the last one that I'm currently working on, so like the 12th skein, is Wishes inspired, which is like an old Disney fireworks show. And then the purple, oh, I just hit the camera again, whoopsies. The purple is Figment, which is like a pretty variegated purple. And then the red, which I love this color. This is like a red, green, white kind of color. This is, I believe it's called Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which I think is one of the original rides, specifically in Disneyland, California, which I've never been to, but I still love that I have it in my blanket. It is so cute. Then the blue color is Backside of the Water, which is Jungle Cruise inspired. This one is Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. It's cute. It has like little flecks of green in it. Keep winding this up. Then this color is Spaceship Earth, which is like a gray purplish color. My little sweater keeps falling down. Rolling it down. Okay. This is Teacups, which this like pooled a very funny way. It's like X's. And this honestly is probably my least favorite color, but still, it's cute. But it's just so silly, like X's just pooled that way. And then this greenish, tannish one is Kilimanjaro Safari. Classic. One of my husband's and I's and my family's favorite thing to do there. So I'm glad that was one. What is this blue one? Oh, this is on, oh, People Mover. Classic. People Mover. This yellowy speckled one with blue is Carousel of Progress, which my dad loves Carousel of Progress, so that's like cute that it's in my blanket. And then this one is Star Tours. And last but not least, the end of my blankie, Little Mermaid. So I love it, and I'm really sad that she like put out a thing saying that was this past month. So the Wishes yarn is the last month that she's doing at the club, which sucks. I was sad to hear about that, but I've really enjoyed working on this over the past year, and it's been really fun because I'll watch like either the Disney movie like associated with it, or ride videos, or like Disney vlogs as I do it. And it's just nice because now I have a nice merino wool blanket that was inspired by another one of my favorite things, and one of my like most special treasured places. So yes, I'm a Disney adult. But yeah, since this yarn, when I found out that yarn was discontinued, another one of my favorite dyers, called Bumblebee Acres Farm, they released that they were going to be doing I don't know if it's a full year. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just till the end of the year, but they're doing a Magic Kingdom inspired monthly yarn club. So when I saw that, I was like, universe, thank you. And I signed up, immediately, and that's a DK weight merino. I signed up for the worsted weight. It's their marshmallow base, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. And I need to go in on Ravelry and choose a pattern that I'm going to do for that blanket. So that's kind of going to be my, I don't know, I love my little yearly blanket projects. It's been bringing me joy. So that's like my longest standing crochet whip that I thought I would show, and other people who are like into Disney and the Disney parks know that's an option. You can find Disney yarn or like really niche yarn from these like really incredible dyers, and then you can support them in that way. But yeah, the last thing that I kind of want to talk about is just the people that I've been watching and been obsessed with, just so that I can spread the love to them a little bit. And that like maybe if you don't watch them and you come watch my video, go and show them love too. So I mean, I've been watching a lot of Flosstubers over these last couple months, and like yarn people too online. And so far with the Flosstube situation, the people that have been really inspiring me and wanting me to make videos is, you have Jordan at the Tattooed Stitcher. She's amazing. I love all her projects that she makes, and man, her and also Bernadette from Burn Stitches, they can crank out some projects, and it's really inspiring. But I'm slow. I'm really slow when I stitch. So I've been loving them, and then I've also been loving the girlies, I think they call themselves, which is Cam the Stitcher, Lemonade Stitches, I believe, Lemonade Stitcher. Then you have Seattle Stitcher, I've been loving, and I've like binge watched all her videos. You have Marjorie Maid and Bridgen, the Museum Stitcher. I've been loving them. They've been keeping me company in my free time while I do my little craftiness. And then also, I mentioned before, Ashley at Paper Crane Yarns. Amazing. I love her business. I will fully be supporting her financially. I definitely want to be, I want to purchase, like my next big yarn purchase I want to do from her shop, because I just love her yarn so much, and I love the projects she does. So go check her out on YouTube. She does her Paper Crane Yarns podcast, and she'll do like a monthly vlog series, like Vlogtober, which, I mean, I've even got my mom hooked on them. Like, we were watching them religiously every day when she was posting them. And then another person, lastly, I'll just mention like one more person. I've been really watching Abby at Pansy Stitches. Love her too. She's great, and I love the work that she does as well, and it really enables my wallet, because I add everything like into my iPhone notes list like that I need to buy. Yeah, so that's my little bit of Flosstube shout outs / mentions for this. I don't have any haul today to share today, but I am getting a package later today from 123 Stitch, so I can share that in the next video. And I am getting a needle minder haul too, because I saw the Seattle Stitcher, Megan, mention that she loves Mad for minders, and I was desperately trying to find like affordable needle minders, because I don't feel like spending $15 to $20 on a magnet. So she suggested Mad for minders in her video, and man, I literally went through every single one that Mad for minders has on their Etsy page, and I bought a lot of them. So I have some haul coming up soon. But yeah, that is I think everything I'm going to talk about today. So thank you so much for joining me on this new journey that I'm starting. And please leave a comment down below if you made it all the way through, and let's be friends and let's talk about all our fun little hobbies. So I will see you in the next one.